No.
That's what you've just heard there.
Jerry, your camera out.
Well, I don't.
We'll do that next. We're waiting for Jerry's thumbs up for that one. Yeah. You can reach through, so they're out of the way then. Yep.
tell me when you transitioned it, and then I will... Okay, so you've got a live feed on there now, yeah? Okay, turn back to camera 1.
Okay folks, good morning. Welcome once again to, we are at Vulcan XH558. As you can see, all the crews are in place preparing the aircraft for today's show. When I say show, it's a live engine run-up that we're going to be doing, as well as a taxi as well, as it comes back towards us under power, that is. So we've got a camera set up inside the flight deck right now. We did just transition to that. You would have seen that. That is lit. It was lit by my camera phone, by my phone torch. Sorry. They'll be taking the canopy off any moment now. So as soon as that's done, then we'll have light inside the cockpit. Other than that, we're going to go mobile now and just have a look and see what these guys are doing. So join us and enjoy it. Okay, GP, stand by. We are expecting rain at 1100 hours, so kind of prepped for that. Right, the backpack is now going on. John Mansell couldn't have a better birthday party, could you? So, obviously, people will be talking about the aircraft, and it's. Of course, don't forget that this is. Julie, can we just double check? I've got audio feed. Everything's good. I'm going mobile now. Okay. Do what, sorry? Okay. So just be aware that this is... right, here we go. Let's just follow our cruise in here. Stop the generator off giving electrical power. Julie, can we just... I just want to make sure... Apparently this collar is... an even better starter system than the engine inspections. Oil going in. How much oil are you putting in, sir?
Well, usually goes half gallon.
Checking it on the gauge.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a gauge there, isn't there? Okay.
Yeah, well, 1.5 should just about do it.
Not a great deal, is it?
No.
When you consider the what it's oiling up.
It does all 6. They might be able to see it.
Oh, right, okay. You're going to see it anyway. Okay, I'm not getting a great shot of that. But...
It's not easy, it's very difficult to see.
drained at the end of the day.
Yes, the seals tighten up when they cool down, and they're not as resilient. So if you don't drain it out, it will simply drain out into the engine cowlings, and then it's very expensive stuff.
Yeah, and very messy, I guess, as well.
Yeah. This is the hard work bit.
Got in a bull worker, isn't it? Number 4.
Checked all these last time and they were alright. All of them.
Yeah.
What the rest?
You ready?
It's live. Okay, Chili, hold on, stand by. Chili, cut to camera 2, please. To the viewers what's going on here. So you've got nitrogen bottle there, filling your tyres with nitrogen.
This is for the tyres. It's a spare bottle in transit with, and then fill the tyres up with it.
What sort of pressure are you putting in there?
About 140 pounds in there.
Let's just have a look inside the undercarriage bay here. How small the main wheels are. It's quite remarkable how tiny they are. But obviously 8 of them, therefore distributing the weight nice and even. But incredibly impressive piece of cast engineering going on there. And what I noticed yesterday was it's just that single hydraulic arm there that controls the undercarriage going up into the bay. You can just see the little recess there at the back there, the well, which basically that strut will pull the entire assembly up into its bay.
See the dial?
Yes, got it.
It's on 1.5.
Okay.
It's 1.5 yards.
Okay.
That's it.
That's what it should be. Okay, that's good.
Obviously,
Yes, I will.
inside engines. Olympus 220s, I think they are. From memory. Of course, there was a highly upgraded version which was switched to include the. Let's just have a quick word with Taff here. Taff, it's one of our main men. How you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. Taff, just are you aware of the offset of the nozzles here? The fact that one nozzle is offset. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, and it's aerodynamically, but don't ask me why, because I'm an electrician.
Okay, so it's more of aerodynamics.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. It's just interesting. Something you just don't really see.
I did remember, but it's a few years now when I can't.
So, Taff, tell us what's your involvement here with the Vulcan Trust?
I'd say there used to be the chief engineer on it now, and I've been kept on a contracting basis to come back and oversee all the volunteers to maintain it in a serviceable condition.
Okay, so you used to fly her in when she was operational?
Yeah, I used to be on board on transiting as the chief engineer, and so I was responsible for maintaining it while she was in service.
Fantastic, and it must be an honour to just continue on.
Oh yeah, I've had an ongoing thing with the Vulcan since 1980, and on and off throughout the decades, and yeah, it's a special aircraft and I just can't leave it alone.
Wonderful, thanks Taff.
Pleasure.
Great stuff. I've got, somebody said hello to you yesterday. Who was it, Gilly? Somebody said say hello to Taff for us. Tim Allen said hello to you. Piece of what looks like, you know, art or architecture, but it's just the outlets, I'm guessing, but beautifully sculpted.
So
I believe that's one thing that's...
take that cap off, and then after you go off, just the reverse of
I'm going to say that is well, that's a challenge.
We did mention yesterday about the names. You can have your name emblazoned on the aircraft, and of course somebody yesterday was asking if we could look out for their son or whoever it was, but look how many names there are. Nathan, unfortunately we're not going to be able to find your name in amongst all of this lot, but as you can see, quite extensive on here. £30 to get your name on there. I believe they've just started that that next phase. Sorry, I took the record button for someone maybe.
Just going to start the flying controls in a minute.
What's that, sorry?
Just about to start the flying controls. Just to fire them up because they've been drooping a little bit, and what we do is just going to fire them up so they're actually level and pressurised, so we make sure that we clear the
okay, so you're powering up the hydraulic systems and...
No,
of course this is...
flight controls, they're all individual units.
And just remind me, I mean, am I being a bit arrogant here, but is this still cable operated flying surfaces?
Oh yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
this was long before fly-by-wire.
Yeah, it is. What they've got is individually electrically powered hydraulic units, so they're all individual, so if one fails it's only the one system, not the whole
So there's control rods that go all the way from the control column in the cockpit all the way down to the flying control unit, which then operates a shuttle valve on a hydraulic unit that drives the piston in and out.
I see. Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll stand at the back of the aircraft, I guess, to see that happening. Would it be?
Let's just start it now. You can still hear them.
So just to give you a little bit of an insight into what this is, folks, this is actually an air starter with a little jet engine in it, believe it or not. And what is also interesting, a little bit of a factoid, is that the APU system that they used on the Vulcan is actually made by Rover Cars, believe it or not. Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So even just for a taxi run, they obviously have to make sure everything's operating within the right window. Obviously, people just understand this is obviously AV-RO, manufacturers of the Lancaster bomber. So very famous British manufacturer building two iconic aircraft to protect our skies, basically. Well, should I say protect our land more than anything else. As a bomber, of course, she wasn't She had no armament whatsoever on board the aircraft. She was not armed. And as you can see, quite surprisingly, is how small the cockpit is and how confined it is. 2 ejector seats, obviously, in the cockpit. In the aft position, which is where the navigator and radio operators would be. There is no, whether there is a radio operator, I think it might be just a navigator's position. Also very confined, but a lot more space than the pilots have got. But of course, should there have ever been an issue, ejecting would be okay for the pilots. Canopy just releases and out they go, whereas the guys in the aft compartment behind the pilots would have a little bit more of an issue getting out, being as that's the only form of escape through that hatch there. And I'm guessing they would have had a quick release system, much like the little hatch at the with the Lancaster bombers and the Halifaxes down underneath the bomb aimer's position. All cast. Incredibly impressive piece of cast. Just give the folks a little look into the cockpit one more time. That's it? What, in a bad way or? Oh, okay. No, that's wrong. Okay, well then, oh, that's not right. Okay, well let me get up there and have a look. Okay, let me get up there and have a look then. Someone's knocked it, haven't they? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook out here. Go switch. You all good? Switch out back to main.
hatch was properly down, but
When we get down to the running bay, it will be.
it will be, won't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so at some point in time we can get up here and
Yeah.
I'll grab some words with you.
Yeah.
Is it all right to say that you work on it? Is it F-15s up at
Typhoons.
up at Coningsby?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. So what is interesting, folks, if you can hear me, actually what we'll do is we'll go over this side. You see the Airbus logo there, I think that's just a support.
Both sides, that is. So that's one of the other things that we normally check for condensation. And if there's a fuse problem, that's the first place we go in to check all fuses.
Ground electrics. I think we've got both electrical systems fired up. So 28 and 100 and something, I believe. These are the jacks, folks, believe it or not. I know there's a lot of people who are watching who are highly educated, far more so than me, it has to be said. And I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot of people there who are educating our viewers as well. But just to give you an idea, these are hydraulic jacks that they use if they need to get the aircraft up in the air, and that's what you see sometimes on an aircraft. You see the jack point, but as a passenger you probably won't see that. You'll see that the jacking point, the lift point for lifting the aircraft in some cases, or actually suspending it in some cases, but these are to jack the aircraft up in order to do undercarriage checks and the like. And of course, if you're changing wheels, there's of course a wheel and tyre assembly, so these are pretty impressive. Haven't changed at all. The ones you see currently in the commercial sector are obviously just yellow as opposed to green here. So that red section there is, I guess that's something that basically locks the undercarriage to ensure that it will not fold under if the hydraulics were to fail. That would not normally be in situ during operational flying. whilst they're continuing on their ground operations. Let's read some comments out from people, because I know there's a lot of people who are with us right now on all channels, of course. Let's just have a little look. Jump on to Facebook. We're on the main page of Facebook, folks. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I fully appreciate that there are some of you guys who are sort of like probably multitasking, watching the rugby, come on England, and of course against South Africa. And good luck, and may the best team win, literally. So let's just jump to some comments now. So, John Hucklesby, let's just see, Andy Dance, Chris G, Robert Elliott, Ross Kennedy, Scott, James Vidal, Rob McKenzie, Odette, all you guys watching there on Facebook right now. Please make sure you come in and say and put your comments out there, folks, because obviously it's good to talk. Mally Beard, John Allen, Jordan Sharp, Cameron Knights, Neil Schwartz out there in South Africa. Good day. From Brussels to the sky, where and when does he operate, please? Oh, okay, I think Brussels from the sky, what you're meaning there is, or asking there, is where and when does this aircraft operate? Well, this is non-operational. This is the last airworthy, as it was, Vulcan bomber that used to fly in the air shows over here. Of course, she was operational with the RAF. Her final flight, she landed here in 2015. Very emotional time for everybody involved, of course. And during the year, you can obviously visit their website and check the dates for taxi runs. Today, what we're seeing is a partial taxi run. It'll be very slow, certainly not at the sort of like speed that they would normally do it. But today is the operation is basically to put the aircraft into hibernation and make sure that the engines are run up to their full efficiency, and so therefore you will hear them in their howl, basically. Ritz EU, Cameron Knights, Caroline Blair, Daniel Opolska. Will only the engine be started, or will they fly? Just the engines started, Daniel. Just the engines. She will not fly. She no longer flies this aircraft. She no longer has any form of certification. So good day to you. Atul Chandra, good morning. Caroline Blair, CPR 1234. Oh yes, the Vulcan is manufactured by Airbus. No, it's not. Of course, I think that might be a bit of a joke. It's not. I think Airbus support these guys, as do quite a few other people very kindly support, as well as the donations coming from people who donate to be part of this wonderful program. So. Okay, Mills Daddy, morning crew. This is my all-time favourite plane. Heart sank when it flew over my house on its farewell flight. Beautiful lady, isn't she just that? People talking about the cockpit, how unbelievably confined it is in there. I mean, it's very, very small. Literally just about squeeze two people in there. And what is remarkable, and of course I'll be speaking with a pilot a little bit later on, is in terms of sorties, long operational sorties. I mean, they used to fly obviously operational around the UK doing exercises, but actually in terms of seeing active service, the only one time I believe was actually in the Falklands War, when she was used obviously on those stages, not this particular aircraft of course, and then they had to use the air-to-air fueling
platform, which ironically enough there's an example of that Victor that's just up the road in Elvington, which also does taxi runs. So hopefully we'll be coming to that later on in the year. Asif tuning in from Bangladesh, good afternoon to you. Mutada Ahmed, Tim Bell, LBA my local too, but at only 50 flights a day, it's not busy. Okay. Eurofighter, any ideas on the ETA until startup? Well, the people who have paid to be here today, folks, they've just arrived, and they are going to be shown around the aircraft, given the opportunity to have a little look around it, and then we will be towing the aircraft from here up to the engine test bay. Now I'm going to be in the tug, so you're going to be in the tug with me as we head up the taxiway. They will then unlink it and then push it back into the test bay, where they will obviously apply the brakes. They're only going to be running one engine up at a time, incidentally, but it is going to be extremely loud, so bear that all in mind. Kurt Landgraf, plane spotting Ringway. Oh yeah, cool. So there we go. Oh yeah, cool. Ben's Aviation, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to, of course, everybody watching on the Facebook channel. Let's just have a look at that. Which one is it, Gilly? Which one should I go to? Vulcan XH558, but it's on their page as well, isn't it? To read their comments out. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of you wonderful people watching on there right now. There is the there we are. Okay, so we've got a tremendous amount of people on Vulcan XH558 watching on their Facebook page. Jez Allen, my dad took me for a walk around the aircraft in its hangar when it was flying. He was ex-RAF. I wish I'd got his name on the wing. You can still do that, Jez. £30. You can do it. A lot of people do it out of respect or in memorandum or whatever, whichever way you want to do it. Just Jez, just go to the Vulcan Trust website and find out how you can do that. We did it literally a couple of days ago. We've already received our certificate. So that might be something you want to compare. Okay, Samantha Jane Stevens. My dad's name is on her wing. Fantastic. Gmod Pro. Good question. How much does it cost to maintain? Well, put it this way. Today's exercise, they've put 9,000 litres of Jet A1 in that aircraft, costing around about between 55 and 60p per litre. So you can imagine, just the taxi runs alone, she'll burn off a good couple of grand's worth of fuel today. They also have a certain amount of fuel still in the tanks, but as well as that, and of course maintaining her with parts and so on and so forth costs us obviously a considerable amount of money. Arthur Higgs, Claire Jowett, my mum and dad's name are on the wing. Lisa Slater, watched this aircraft grace the sky at many air shows. Yes, so did I, Lisa, and I remember it very, very well indeed. And of course, I remember as a kid seeing this aircraft, as well as actually, I'm not sure when I was a kid whether it was XH558 that was actually displaying. I'll have to actually find that out. That would have been sort of like in the 70s and 80s. Even so, I remember that, as well as the Canberra, the Vampire, the Meteor, the Lightning, of course, Phantom, as well as all those other fantastic jet aircraft of the age. Of course, all hardly flying now for whatever reasons, whether it's health and safety or whatever, but it's a great shame. Michael Sonston went to one of these back in May and was absolutely amazing to see it come to life indeed. Well, we're going to bring that to you live today, Michael. And Lindsay Parker, Daz Newton, you're very right, Daz. Yes, indeed. It does need to be. It's going to be her third winter out in the cold, so it would be good to see her under some kind of protection. Roy Banks, Gmod Pro. Let's just have a look. Neil last. I own a Dunlop Mazarette that came off XH558, a prized possession. Wow. Maxarette. I'm guessing, Neil, that is obviously one of the tyres. Yes, it does, Holly. The Spirit of Great Britain. Indeed it is. Gary Martin. Good job. It's got big wings. Yes, indeed. She has got massive wings. And what is interesting is, in fact, when we were just looking up inside the engine bay there, the engine itself is the engine is only sort of like around about 2.5 meters long, maybe a little bit shorter than that. These are the Olympus engines, not the Olympus / Snecma engine that was uprated massively to obviously use afterburner for the Concorde, of course. They did have a rapid start variant of this aircraft, and Sam will explain that a little bit later, where basically they pushed all they had to do was push one button and it would light up the entire aircraft in terms of making it flyable. Are we nearly going, or?
No, I've still got stuff to hook up.
Okay, good.
Another 5 minutes.
Okay, mate, thanks. Okay, Holly Merverton, beautiful. Darren Davey, my dad's certificate has pride of place in our living room. Lee Foster. Lee Foster, is it true that the fuel tanks needs to be cleaned out manually due to fungus that may grow in the fuel? Well, I think that I'm not sure about that, because I know that they leave a certain amount of fuel in the aircraft in order to give it balance and weight, especially in the forward tank. For the winter time when snow may get on the back of the aircraft, so she may sort of like sink back. So I believe that's something that's that I could perhaps pick up on. Dawn Lambert saw it fly over on its last flight. Awesome noise. June Ward, Susan Travis, my dad's name is on the wing. Jay Paul, my little boy wants his name on the wing, it's his favourite plane. He's 4. Jay, most definitely, very, very easy to do. Just go to the website. James Kadira, would love to see this beauty back in the sky. Not going to see that anytime soon, I'm sure. Bill Smith, good question. Who is, I know we've got Tap up there.
That'll do.
Sam. Oh, who we got taxiing it today then, Ian?
Adrian Sumner.
Adrian Sumner, ex.
Is Adrian Group
Wing Commander.
Wing Commander.
Adrian Sumner, there we go, folks. Host of information coming from all these guys, of course. That's the air start that they're moving here behind me. The air starter has a little mini jet engine in it, which is just like an APU. Unbelievable. I mean, that thing makes a racket, and you think that makes a racket, you wait till you hear this thing fire up. Anyway, guys, keep those questions and all of those wonderful comments coming. John Courage, Linda Nichols, Holly Milverton, Richard Bradshaw, Adam Bates, Linda Nichols, Gary Martin, Holly and Daniel Smart, Neil Lee Pudney, and everybody else. We're going to be getting inside. I think we're not that far off soon. Still filling the starboard engine with oil, so they're still pumping that oil in. So time for a few more. Richard Taylor. I own part of an engine blade from her when she blew 2 engines on takeoff a few years ago. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Funny enough, the guys at in their stores department, they do have an old Olympus engine with cutaway segments in it where you can see the blades turning. It's a 2-stage engine as well, 2-stage spool, and in the aft section, which would be the I'd imagine the combustor or the high pressure turbine, I'd imagine. Low pressure at the front, high pressure at the back, I believe. Maybe the other way around, I'm not sure. Anyway, interestingly enough, that particular engine ingested some FOD, foreign object debris as it's known, and it was only a little tiny stone, and it's quite interesting to see the damage that little tiny stone made to those blades, which was quite amazing. Damon Campbell, Sean Hopton, Oh, Sean Hopton, what time is engine start up? Only working a mile away. Well, Sean, you're most definitely going to hear it, but we're going to be following this right the way through. Sort of looks like they're not that far off now. So what happens now is the aircraft will be towed up to the engine test bay, where it will be hooked up, and obviously there's a certain amount of standard procedures that need to be adopted to starting up the engines. So all the systems will be checked. Obviously, all the instruments on the flight panels will be checked, and of course, all analog display up there, not a single glass screen in sight. Let's just go back up to the cockpit and have a little look up there. Gilly, do you want to go to the cockpit?
Check your audio. Just check your audio. So this is Jim that we spoke to yesterday. Hey Jim Debenham.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
All right, fine, thank you.
How's preparations gone?
We're just about ready. We're just fastening up number 3 engine. We've topped all the oils up, done all the tyres. We've had to run the elevons because basically they were sitting low, and after the refuel yesterday the jet's sitting a little bit low. So we just wanted to straighten them up a little bit this morning.
Okay.
As you saw, we've had the power on this morning so that we can get everything done and ready for today. We're just about ready now, so we'll all scurry off in a minute to go and, we'll have somebody on the wingtips just making sure that she's going to go over everything. So if you see the building there, when she's fully fueled, we do struggle to get over that a little
Which
bit.
building?
This red and white.
Oh, right, okay.
So you can see it's about the right height.
Oh, okay, yes, it is, isn't it?
So we
you
very
need to have somebody
carefully
walk
watch
with
it go over there, yeah.
Okay.
Once she's past there, then everything's fine.
So you're burning around about, how many is it, about 10,000?
I think we'll burn about 10,000 litres today, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll leave about 10,000 litres in the jet, ready, for winter, just to counterbalance it through the winter.
And somebody was just asking, I said that you leave a certain amount of fuel in the aircraft to, like you say, counterbalance.
Yeah, we have to be very careful because she is quite finely balanced. So what we do is the fuel that's left in the aircraft, we pump it through to number 1 tank, which is at the front here. So that balances the front end. So if we get a lot of snow on the wings, then the weight of the snow won't tip the jet up. I think if people fish around on the internet, they can see 1 or 2 Vulcans where that's happened. I believe it happened with one of the ones at Carlisle a few years ago, where the jet actually tipped up. But the other thing we also do is we have the props and we'll put a prop under either side before winter really gets here with engines.
I see,
So
just to
that she's
stabilise
sat
it,
on-
make
she's
sure
actually
she's-
sat not on the prop, but the prop's there just in case she does settle a little bit.
I see. Okay.
and
And in
that'll
terms of the fuel itself, it doesn't sort of like have a
No,
any
it don't
sort
have a
of
shelf
like time shelf life. Yeah.
No. So we tend to keep around that amount of fuel in her anyway. We try not to go below 10,000 litres because what happens, all the tanks that are on her are rubber. So they're very similar to what were on Concorde, the ones that were in the wings on Concorde, so they're like rubber bags. And if you take too much fuel out of them, they start to dry out and crack, and then we're in all sorts of trouble.
I see. Yes. So it actually keeps them lubricated.
It keeps them lubricated.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So so what is the procedure once they've finished filling the oil into the engine?
Once they've finished, which I believe they have because they're fastening the doors back up, we'll get ready to tow. So you'll see two people go out to the wingtips. You'll see one person stay here. So just a bit of interest if I just show you.
Yeah.
See the little white marks on the wheel? That's the maximum amount
there's
that the wheel
lock,
can
the
turn.
wheel lock, right?
So
okay.
the white marker in the middle can only go as far as the white marker on either edge. What happens if you take it too far? The column inside snaps. Not such a big issue for us because we're not flying, but if we actually lifted the front wheel off, the wheel would drop off. So we have to be very careful. So you'll have a guy stood here, and you'll see him doing this to the guy in the tug. So he's telling him how far away he is from that mark.
Yes.
So I see. So that's another
So there's
thing.
one on the other side as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's one
okay.
down
So
the-
there's a
Yes,
limit
there's
either
a
side. Yeah,
maximum on either side
yeah.
that we can turn.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And
Where's the blue? Back on board.
You drop the strap down for a second.
so Adrian's on brakes. So he'll be braking the aircraft while she's moving under tow.
Okay. And that's in the right hand position, is it?
I
Or
do believe. Sam, what seat are you in today?
P2.
P2. That's left or right? Right. So Sam's right, Adrian's left. The gentleman going up now is our engineer for the day. So he stays with us all day. He's one of our supporters.
so he'll keep an eye on the instruments. Okay. Gilly, do you want to go to the main camera? To the.
That's the wonderful thing about it. I hadn't been in one for 20 years, and I climbed in the one at Southend, 426, and it was the smell that distinctive. Yeah, similar to the Lancaster had it's the leather and the pea. Yeah. Because we have these wonderful bladders. Yeah. Pea tubes. Yeah. That were with a chrome top, and people used to give them away as farewell presents to people. It's a bit embarrassing when you fill one, as I did on one occasion. There we are.
I can see now because the visibility, because obviously the way it's designed, it's not designed for. You know, but
People comment about that, but it's something you get used to.
Yeah, because obviously I've seen camera shots from here, but obviously we're sat further forward, so you can actually see over the top.
Yeah,
But obviously when you see that, you think, well, how do they see where they're going?
Yeah. I flew down here. When was that, last year? So we're obviously here.
Yeah.
And will be towed out to here.
Yeah.
And then he obviously needs permission. This is Zulu 6.
Yeah.
You need permission to go down the taxiway right down to the engine room platform. But you'll see on the way, this is one of the old runways here.
Yeah.
You know, we had 3 runways. There was one obviously across here.
Yeah, it was RAF, wasn't it, before?
Yeah, I did 2 tours here.
Yeah.
I was OC Ops here. Yeah, and so when they became civil, they extended the end here.
Yeah.
But in 1950, got to think about this, 57, 56, 57, they extended the main runway for the V-Force coming into here.
Yeah.
So they bolt hold, as we call it.
Yeah.
They moved 616 out, which was the Meteor Squadron, out to Worksop.
Yeah.
the airfield there during that time, and then disbanded 616 there. Before they bought the, they had one Valiant squadron here, and then 101 came in with the Vulcans here.
Yeah.
And in fact, this aircraft was here.
Yeah.
In the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's come home really to.
As a white aircraft initially, of
Yeah.
course, and then in '63.
Yeah.
When we went low level.
Yeah.
The camouflage scheme, which is interesting.
I've been waiting for the smells. That's what I've been waiting for. And it is exactly what I expected.
Yeah,
Even when I was unwrapping some of the parts the other week at Stratford-upon-Avon, I was unwrapping them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went there. I brought some bits and pieces.
Yeah. Oh, you've gone that far, my word.
Yeah. Well, I just think, I wanted to donate some money. I haven't got a lot of money, 'cause obviously I've got 2 kids and a wife and stuff and that, and obviously an old van. But obviously I need to. There's certain things which are important to me. And I've had a lot of illness over the years. I've double pneumonia 4 times and septicemia. You see, so of course I've had a couple of bouts of sort of near sort of death sort of thing. So I'm feeling very lucky, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So when it came through on the email that obviously I managed to get the one ticket, I was just thought. Oh. And then Mr. goes, well, how are you going to pay for it? I said, I have paid for it. And she goes, I bet you haven't you? I said, yeah, I have. I said, but I've got to work next.
Main camera for that.
ATC. Charlie, all from 5, we have information Julia, situation either 7 come up or
press the button and you get within 50 feet. For a nuclear weapon, it was never going to be that way anyway, because you're probably going to be blacked out. Because we did have, of course...
Yeah, as I was saying, because of flash, wasn't it?
Yeah, well down here is some of the remnants.
Yeah, the blackout thing,
And they used to come up and go on the Velcro here. Of course, and then on the side, I'll do my side here. It's a sun shield, but what we have got is immediate blacking out.
Yeah.
Same your side, of course. So you can go totally black. She does that. This will be used for what? So that's where. If we had a problem in the air, and there was a couple of occasions when they had a problem with the aircraft, and because they had time, then they had time to get the rear crew out, which of course is the problem down there.
Yeah.
And you can see jolly well.
Yeah.
That will be the
if you dig right, you're going to go into the landing.
If you had landing gear down.
Yeah.
And the whole idea was to hold on to one of these door struts
around the side
and hook you around that way. Up the top here, if you ditched or you had time, and I know one crew that did it, you can get rid of the canopy.
Yeah.
The first pull on the ejection seat would also get rid of the canopy.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, there's 2 pit pins here which would be out.
Yeah.
So we'd have all the safety pins here.
Yeah.
To make this live and also the canopy live on this house. So by pulling both or either of these, the canopy would lift off.
The top set,
and its eccentric hinge, just take it back.
Yeah.
Probably hit the tail. But
doors, Sam, when we get there?
Well, once we've got the engines running.
Not later, or?
Yeah, once we start the run.
Okay.
he started paying that council tax, and he paid it for over 3 months, the council, in the eyes of the law, have accepted it as a separate residence. So I'd done all that, and then I put in for the thing, and they said, you're not going to get it. I said, well, I'm going to go for law certificate of use, and it took 6 months, a lot of stress. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not an architect, but I've done all the stuff for it. And when we got that through, it was just like he was 3 inches taller. Wow. And to see it in his face, he just lifted, and the whole thing of it, because that's where his mum had left him that to stay, because so he got somewhere which is obviously comfortable to live. So we've done a bit of work on it for him and put a few steels in and pinned it together so it didn't fall down. But it's all, But I just love all that sort of stuff. I like stuff. Before we started building our house, we restored a grade to listed bakery, and we lived in that. So we've done quite a bit together. Me and the wife. I don't know if she still looks 16 and I look flipping 50. I'm only 44. And
it must take its toll. It must.
Oh yeah. The stress, but I feel better for it. I probably think like a 60-year-old.
But also at the same time,
I know what's important. Yeah.
But your mind's taken off other things.
Yeah.
If you've got a project like that, and you've given yourself
a
deadline, at least it comes to me. Sadly.
Yeah, it said it was coming in. I was quite surprised when the sun was out this morning when we come up the M80, and I thought, this is a good sign.
Yeah, this was a nice morning. But it's the track of the low pressure that the centre of the low is going to be interesting. Yeah. We'll get those really strong winds here.
It's so open, isn't it?
Airfields always are. Yeah. And these are the other nuisance. When I was here, there was a rubbish tip over here.
Yeah.
The seagulls used to come straight from there and just come and sit on the airfield.
Yeah.
And then the RAF, in their wisdom, first of all, they used to, farmers or companies used to pay to come onto airfields to take the grass away.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was the other way around, where the Air Force had to get people in to cut it.
Yeah.
So one idea they came up with was a long grass policy.
Yeah.
And knowing that these little birds do not like long grass, they can't land on them. So we had this policy, but airfields don't come with jet stream.
Transporter van, and he brought it in there, and it's £20,000 with the VAT. And I said to him, how much is your worth now? In that time, I said, mine's gone up and yours has gone down. It was just a look on his face, because he used to wind me up for driving around in it, and he said, you're not that stupid, are you?
Brakes on!
So all this sort of stuff, I just love it.
In fact, there was a programme on I just caught the other day, yesterday, day before, about Land Rovers. So they were going to do one up.
Yeah.
And he found this Land Rover, one of the old type Land Rovers, but the guy had got the colour wrong, and he painted it bright yellow, and it was sort of matte colour. It was just totally wrong. It just what the end of the programme was like, I don't know. I haven't spent on this thing to get it going. It's just for TV.
I remember my brother had a Series 2 Land Rover, and he short wheelbase, and he's the old 2.25 petrol engine.
All right.
And he took me on his old.
good, yeah.
Audio good, Vicky. Let's see if we can walk around and get around the back. Go to the business end. See what's obvious on this type of aircraft. No horizontal stabilizers, because the wing is such a dynamic wing that basically doubles as the stabilizers. So you can get a good idea. If I go to the back here, get a good idea of what I was talking about earlier with the offset nozzles, which we believe is a aerodynamic or aerodynamics. Something that you just don't notice, obviously, until you stand straight on to the back and see there how that nozzle is offset.
Get some people who short, they're not going to say, "Oh, you got all."
Well, I've got short legs, so it's.
Or was there a regular? Did they have like a thing that the police used to have? You have to have a regular height and. You have to be, was there?
No, we didn't. In there was some aircraft. I think the Hawk was one. Certainly the Nat.
Yeah.
And the problem was that this length here.
Yeah.
And it was for the ejection.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what you didn't want to do is obviously catch your legs.
Yeah.
So we used to wear garters here.
Yeah.
That plugged in down here. So as it went up the rail, it put your legs back.
Yeah.
So that would stop your legs flailing.
Yeah. So you wouldn't.
But what it doesn't do is change the length here.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a problem because this seat goes that way.
Yeah.
So you're coming away from it.
Yeah.
So
Angle,
it's slight angle. The only main problem was they weren't rocket seats. So this was a real bang.
Yeah.
And people used to get a lot of back problems.
Yeah.
If you had to eject.
Yeah.
And of course the traditional thing you saw in people in the old aircraft, people were doing this, which you could do, of course, with a handle.
Yeah.
But the policy at the end was to sit with your back straight and use the lower handle.
Yeah.
Pull that thing, then that will stop. Finally, if I pull that thing off,
So I'll be holding this.
Right.
You would have pulled that out of the pin.
Yeah.
You would then hook that.
Yeah.
You would then bend this back. That pin then sits in there again.
Right.
So then this is the right. Yeah. And then we put it down on the floor. You ready? Ready. Being parallel on this side. Right. Get another two this side then. Right. So you grab the arm. Oh, you got the pin? You got the pin? You want this again? Yeah. Well, you got the collar off, Caroline. Doesn't have to wait up the arm. Get the pin of it. Here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
Push the pin in.
Yeah, kick.
Does it help?
No.
That's solid internally.
Something like that's been in there for so long. Good chance that it's slightly seized in there. Yeah, yeah. It's always going to be a little bit tough, isn't it, after it's been in there for quite some time. It's like anything, especially if it's had all that weight on it. It's just slightly cranked off line, yeah. Yes, I see. Oh, I see, yeah.
Lined up, it comes very easy.
Ah, right, yes. I can see now, yeah. It is slightly offline, isn't it?
I'll pull the pin.
Yes. I think we're pulling too hard. It's all the front.
The boom's out. Give it loud. There we go, there we go, there we go. That's good. Come back to that. So folks, just reiterating what I said earlier on, Airbus, it's not built by Airbus, it's Avro, same manufacturer as the Lancaster bomber. Airbus is just supporting, I believe there is a certain element of financial support to the project, hence the Airbus livery. Whoever said that was a one-man job?
It's a very heavy piece of
It is, isn't it?
very heavy. And when the arm comes out, it's a real...
Then all the weight is on there, isn't it? And then you can let the hatch down fully.
If the tail bar's perfectly in line, it comes down straight away.
Yes. Yeah.
Slightest bit of movement.
And of course there's no way of really like being able to guarantee that self-rising, is there? It's just a luck of the draw, isn't it?
Yep.
Because we're only talking millimetres offline, and you know, something with such an amount of tolerance on it. Ooh, was. It is, or okay, I see.
Some of it's been taken out.
Yeah.
And some of it's left in. It's left in for ballast weight.
Right, I'm with you. Yes.
A lot of the radar equipment is in here.
And was there a radome per se in the nose?
Yes,
there was. Right.
The navigation bombing system scanner sits in the nose.
Yes. Right. And the blister at the front with the little screen on it, is that literally for bomb aimer or?
No. Oh, you mean the
little
glass?
screen glass? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
it
just
was, literally a bomb aimer. During the war, the Lancasters, Wellingtons always had a bomb aimer slot.
Yes.
And when they built this, they put a bomb aimer window in it.
Yes, not knowing that they wouldn't need one.
Never been used. Well,
yeah.
I don't think it's been used.
Yes.
We're going to lift, you're going to pull this down. It's good.
The door itself is very heavy.
Yes.
See that. Hydraulic rams on it though, isn't it?
Yes, but
even so it will fall.
It's powered by by nitrogen.
Right.
There's a nitrogen bottle inside.
Yes. So it will still just fall under its own.
No, it won't fall. It's got to be pushed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, little button just here.
Oh, I see. Yes.
And then press the button and
Simple
the
little
gas
button like that.
The gas
Crazy.
takes over.
Yes. Is that still active?
Yes.
Operational. Yeah.
Yeah. When they finally closed up, it's just a button push. But the rams are very strong.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was mentioning earlier on that it's interesting to see the main undercarriage where you see that single strut that takes it up, that one arm lifts the entire assembly up.
Look at it, it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's a huge piece of cast work. But a very delicate steering mechanism inside it.
Yes, yes. It's
much like a commercial aircraft
super
steering
piece of kit.
Do these stand by? I'm just going to
And the wind's going in the wrong direction, isn't it? Yeah. If you get the wind.
So everybody's getting an opportunity now to
yes,
have a look inside, all around the aircraft. They'll go up inside the cockpit as well.
I don't know if it's half a dozen, something like that. We'll stay here, go up in the cockpit, back out again, and then another crew will do exactly the same until everybody's been up in the cockpit.
Yeah. So what is interesting is when you actually look at the engine out of the aircraft,
yes,
how much it literally is a very short space, isn't it? Sort of like it starts around about here, is it?
Yeah, well the doors come down.
The doors come down and this is the back of the engine just around about here, isn't it?
The tailpipes.
Yeah, so it's only literally a couple of metres long, the engine itself. 2.5, 3 metres long, something like that?
4 metres.
Is it 4 metres?
Yeah,
Oh.
4 metres long.
And these are quite interesting, important in the operational running of the engine. So you must make sure that there's clearance coming out. Yeah. Okay, so GP, can you just cut to flight deck?
Up you come. I'm just going to ask you to pause that on the floor there for 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
Handhold here, and the ladder.
Right.
I want you to position yourself on that box for the time being. I'm just going to park you momentarily.
Okay, no problem at all.
There is a system.
Thank you.
Next one.
This is incredible. Absolutely.
You wait. This is the bit we don't advertise.
This is
the surprise. Okay.
The lady.
Just pause there for 1 second when you're on that floor.
Yeah.
Put your other foot up. That's it. There's a handhold here, and there's one here. Now what I want you to do using the ladder and those handholds is go up that ladder and try and get your head about there, and then you'll get a pilot's eye view of the flight deck and how little view there is out of the window. I'm going to clean my glasses because I can't see it blown. That's it, you got it. Sorry, my dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
The lady outside said,
That's the smell.
The smell.
Yeah,
The smell is just
absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah,
Absolutely
absolutely. You could blindfold people and if they've been in, they'll know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Have you been up here?
No. So what the plan is now, you come back down, go back down the ladder once you came.
Yeah.
Terry will watch your feet for you. And then you, sir, can slide across onto the ladder. Take
Get a
pictures.
picture of him up there
Yeah, of
somehow.
course.
Wow.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, it really is 1950s technology, isn't it? In a
absolutely.
way, it's
Absolutely. There are some more modern flight instruments in there now for the return to flight, but most of it's the original kit. And obviously we've taken all the kit out the back because we don't need to go bombing anymore.
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it?
You'll have to get a target or two.
Yeah.
That pile of rocks next to the Thames would do.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Parliament, we're not the only ones then.
No, you're not. That's it. You go down backwards then. That's it.
Okay, folks, so I'm here with Bob Story. Bob, you've been with the Vulcan Trust for some time, I guess. Just give us a little bit of history on yourself.
I joined the Air Force in 1961. I did a 3-year apprenticeship at the radio school Locking in Somerset. I passed out in 1964 and was posted to RAF Finningley, as it was then, as an aircraft radar fitter, so working on aircraft or aircraft equipment. I spent probably 6 months in the radar bay repairing IFF equipment, which was fitted to the Vulcan. When it was unserviceable, it was taken out, taken into the radar workshop, and I repaired them, put them back together again and got them working. And then went on to 3 hangar, onto the OCU, and I was there for nearly 2 years, working on the Vulcan, mainly B2s at that time, and 558. That was in the 3 hangar as well, so 558 was on the OCU.
So when you say OCU, you're talking about Operational Conversion Unit?
Yes, the pilots are coming through, and also AEO's navigators training, converted onto the Vulcan. So they learnt the Vulcan at Finningley.
So where would have they been coming from? The Canberra, for example? Or?
Yes. I suppose at that time there were Meteor pilots, the Canberra pilots, Canberra navigators, and of course we had AEOs, Air Electronics Officers, who had quite a job on the Vulcan because they were in charge of all the electronic countermeasure equipment, because this was rammed full of countermeasure equipment, jamming equipment. So that was the AEOs, and he did all the electrical control of the aircraft as well.
So the aircraft was unarmed? It had no armament in terms of like defensive armament?
No defensive armament whatsoever, but because this was an OCU, it didn't very often get bombed up, but occasionally they would bomb up for exercises and have nuclear weapons on it. I don't ever remember us having hard bombs on the OCU, but they were capable of 1,000-pound bombers. The bomb bay will take 21,000-pound bombs. So if you're in a conventional role, you use a 1,000-pound bomb. But generally, it was the Cold War, and it was there to drop nuclear weapons. Quite often they were fitted, tested, taken off again. But basically, Finningley was for training. Training the pilots, the navigators, and the air electronics officers.
Did they train for scramble scenarios?
Yes.
And they had an aircraft that had a rapid start system.
Oh yes, there is a rapid start system. I think all the V2s had rapid start system.
Just explain exactly what the rapid start system is.
It's where one engine will start and the compressed air will be fed back to the next engine and back to the next engine. So it will all fire at one. There's a switch, a rapid start switch inside the cockpit. Just press the rapid start switch and it goes into
so that's the whole airborne in 90 seconds.
Exactly. There was an ORP, operational readiness pan, at the far end of the runway, just a hard standing, pretty much like this, where the aircraft were parked. Generally 4 aircraft would be parked, ready to go, in various states of readiness. But depending on the state of readiness, yeah, that could go within 4 minutes.
Wow. So this is an aircraft which is kind of, I guess you could say, we were discussing it earlier on, but it is relatively archaic in terms of its no fly-by-wire, all analog displays.
It's all analog.
Yeah. So
you talk to people nowadays and say it's all analog. It's what?
Yeah.
It's not digital at all.
Yeah. So the no glass screens.
Nope.
Everything was cable operated from the yoke. Right the way through to hydraulic pumps?
Yeah, there are rods, there are cable rods which feed through, but basically...
Much like the old bombers?
Yes, just the same. But of course then it feeds back to electrical drive units. This here is Elevon drive unit.
Yes.
So that's electrical.
So they're electrical screws?
But it's producing a hydraulic ram.
Oh, okay, so it's not screws like the modern day ones, it's a hydraulic ram system. And that's the hydraulic ram that's housed in that?
Yes.
Right, okay.
That's the power flying controls.
Yeah.
But you can, when they start up and switch on the power flying controls, you can hear them. They're very, very noisy. But it's as the electrics start up. But then, when they're operated, it's the hydraulic ram that pushes it up or down.
Yes, yes. Now, she's a delta wing aircraft.
Yep.
Therefore, no need for a tail section or horizontal stabilisers.
No,
so to speak.
no, it's an Elevon.
It is an entire wing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all incorporated. The only thing at the back is the rudder, which is a massive rudder as well.
Again, that itself would be controlled by hydraulic pumps,
yes,
electrical
same sort
systems.
of thing. Yeah. And inside the cockpit there are actual rods, control rods running through,
which is crazy to think of.
It's a very, very old-fashioned. When you think that this was designed 5 years after the Lancaster by the same guy.
Yeah, 1946. It was first on the.
I think it was something like that. I'm not sure of the
crazy.
date.
Same.
But it was just probably 5 years, and it was the same guy, Chadwick, who designed the Lancaster, who then designed this, which was futuristic, totally different
for its time. Incredibly.
Yes. But it's all old technology.
Yes, and the amazing thing is that there were only two variants of the Vulcan. Is that right? The B1 and B2.
They started off the B1. Then the B1A, and then the B2.
Yes.
Yeah. So the B1A was considerably different to the B2.
Yes.
A lot of variation.
Yes. Yes. This is a much more. I would say the wing was substantially different.
Yes, it
wasn't
was. Yes, it was. It was. You can see as you walk along the wing the difference. When it was first started, it was a straight wing.
Yes.
And of course,
and they've added that curve.
Yeah. And here.
Yes.
So it is
and that would have been, I guess, through advancements in wind tunnel testing and so on and so forth.
Yeah. It just performance of it changed over the years, same as the engines went from the 200 series engines to 300 series engines, and considerably more power.
Yes. And later, of course, uprated to the afterburner system for the Concorde.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So obviously a very well proven and very well respected engine to power such an iconic aircraft as the Concorde.
An incredible engine.
But it was much bigger, I believe, the one that powered the Concorde. It was just a slightly larger fan casing and everything.
It could well have been. It could well have been. I don't know. I did work on the Concorde for 3 years at Hilton. After I came out of the Air Force, I was a flight simulator engineer and went to Vulcan for 3 years on the maintenance there, and that was training all the pilots. So it was an interesting period when it was going through acceptance for New York. Eventually got into New York, but it was a very, very long process. And of course, during that time, we scrapped all the rigs and everything because they were never going to build any more. So mid-70s, that was it. Yeah. And that was the end of the build of Concorde.
Yes. But she lasted a decent amount of time.
Beautiful airplane.
Yeah, still a beautiful aircraft.
That again was all analogue.
Yes.
It wasn't.
Indeed. Incredible. When you look on that flight deck, it's just incredible.
Yes.
Flight engineer required, and huge flight engineers panels.
It's massive.
All the fuse boards alone was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just have a little walk underneath the aircraft as we've discussed this huge undercarriage system. What is quite interesting is the fact that the relatively small wheel assembly, isn't it? Like almost car wheels, but there's obviously 8 of them. So, and I guess the design took everything into consideration. You can't have massive wheels, far more weight, and it's what was required at the time, I guess. Yeah. So these are all obviously hydraulically active hydraulic brakes. Yeah.
So you can see from here hydraulic ram.
Yeah, which is incredible. We were discussing earlier on that just that single ram is enough to, you know, pull this entire assembly.
Onto the arm at the side. And was very successful. I don't remember too many problems with the landing gear.
Yes.
I did have problems, but not that many.
Okay, so engines. In terms of the engine covers just coming off there.
Yes.
The actual intakes come all the way back to sort of here, is it?
Yeah, it's quite a long intake.
Yeah.
Because then you go down. One of the checks is to go down the intake to check the blades, and you can see the blades if there's any nicks or birds or little children.
They'll be doing today, or really?
Yeah. All 4 engines will be checked. That there's nothing in the way because the blanks have been on for such a long time.
But you could have nesting birds in there. You could have all sorts of things.
Little children.
And that's what the air start is for, is to just turn the engines over before they get up to a certain revs, is it?
Yes.
15,000 revs or whatever, and then it cranks into, they inject the...
I think with the air starter, you've got the air starter there plugged in behind the main wheelbase.
Yes.
Fire that up, that shoots a highly compressed air into the engine and starts that engine, and then of course you go from one to the other.
You use that engine to power the other engine. I see. Okay, so it's only one engine that needs to be air started, and then it's the equivalent of having an APU on board the aircraft, is it? Yeah.
I don't think with this the rapid start is now active. I believe that was taken.
And interestingly enough, we were discussing earlier on that the APU system on the Vulcan was actually manufactured by Rover.
Yes, it's a Rover gas turbine engine.
Yeah.
As it was in a Rover, was at Le Mans. In fact, it was Graham Hill who drove the Rover at Le Mans. Same thing, exactly the same. Rover gas turbine engine. Yeah.
So impressive.
They call it the dog.
Yes.
That's the name for it. But,
So we were discussing earlier on the length of the engine is sort of like 3-4 metres long.
4 metres.
So she'll only come back to about here.
Well, you've got 2 doors. So that's the start of the engine. So this door comes down, swings down.
Yes.
And then that's the door for the same engine. So it's back to here.
Yes.
So
all the rest of it is literally just because of the wing being so long.
Well, you've got such a large tailpipe. The tailpipe is massive.
It's incredible, isn't it? And these these secondary pipes, the 2 pipes that are.
Don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
Yeah. I was radar, so I was never involved with engines at all.
Okay, and we were noticing earlier on that the outer nozzles are slightly offset at an angle. They're
Yes,
sort
they
of
are.
pitched out at an angle. Is that sort of like an aerodynamic?
I think so. I think these are the sort of things that are evolved over the years. They realise that it interrupts the airflow, so
yes,
they change it then.
And the little unit underneath the back there, is that because obviously you had a chute system?
That is part of the electronic countermeasures.
I see. Okay.
Same as the blips, the domes there.
Okay.
They're all part of the electronic countermeasures.
Interesting.
There were lots and lots of different electronic countermeasures on this over the years, and they changed over the years as well.
Yes.
But basically this could jam missiles that were coming up to them. It could jam the fire control radar for the missiles on the ground, telecommunications, all like that. It just blocks out every radar and communications.
Yes. So they would use these as at great high altitude as
they could use them at any altitude.
Yes.
There was a ECM system which blocked the telecommunications, so any telephone conversations in an area could be blotted out by the aircraft.
Wow.
It had such a lot, and it changed over the years. It was quite surprising as the electronic countermeasures evolved, got better and better and better. They did change the systems.
Yes. Okay, excuse me 1 second. Okay, Jilly, can you go comms if you can hear me? Please. Okay. Hey. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Right. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're probably going to switch off for a short break, and then we'll be coming back just before, around about 5 minutes before they start the engines. So don't go too far away, folks. Grab yourselves a coffee or whatever it might be, and we will be back shortly with the live engine runs. Okay, thanks very much, guys. See you in a bit. Do you think I've cut?